Alright, it is time. You saw the title. We are talking about Arcane today. And honestly, I am so hyped for season 2, but I feel like there's so much to talk about with season 1. I had to do this through a stream of me having at least something else to focus on while I get out my thoughts, so it's not totally rambly. For some reason, I don't know why, but I just seem to focus better when I am doing something else like gaming, and it just seems to work better. I don't know. Um, but we will be basically going over all of season 1, so I mean, make sure you have watched it. If you haven't watched it yet, then what are you doing here? Go do that. Um, we have so much to talk about that's going to be extremely spoilery, and also some things surrounding Arcane that I think are canon, but basically have a lot to do with. It's like not the official show, basically, but it's a lot of stuff involving the surrounding content around Arcane Season 1. So we're talking music videos, we're talking behind the scenes stuff, we're talking a lot of different things. So, because of that, I hope you guys are ready for some very long discussion. I will say the only thing that's off the table right now is the debate between who was in the wrong or who was in the right when it comes to Powder and Vi, because that's such a crazy debate, and depending on what your family structure is like, depending on the experiences you've had in your life, everyone's gonna react differently to that, and everyone's gonna have different feelings on who should have been better or who should have been more in control of the situation or whatever. I'm not even going to say my opinion on that because I feel like that's just not the point of this discussion. We're going to be discussing, yes, everything else surrounding Arcane, but I just wanted to put that one topic on the back burner for now because I feel like that's such more a personal debate rather than a storytelling debate. So we're just going to leave that as it is. Alright, so here we go. Let's pick our mode first and then we'll hop right into the discussion. I think we'll try Salmon Run. Yeah. I want to try Salmon Run just because of the fact that I haven't done it in a while and I want to see if I can have a couple of good matches. Let's look at our rewards first. Got a lot of stuff. Ooh, very nice. We are gonna swap that. That's actually kind of nice. I like these abilities better. We're gonna keep the new gear on that. Swap. And, yeah, swap. Okay, one more left. And swap. Alright. So let's get started with the discussion. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Freelance, there we go. So here's the deal. I feel like Arcane is... Oh, and of course, right when I start the discussion, my dog starts barking. Okay, sorry about that. But I feel like Arcane is such an amazing show specifically because of how it intertwines every single character, even if they've never met before. Like, something has to do with some other character always. Everything always connects, no matter if these characters grew up together or if they were on completely different cities or if they basically had no contact with each other, they still affect each other in every single way. And that's just good writing. That's just really tight writing. Oh, okay. And basically, I feel like also what we're expecting from season 2, of course, is going to be more of that. But I also think it's going to be super important to get interactions that we didn't get in the first, backing up, the first season. Yes. And I feel like some of those interactions are going to be, particularly I'm looking forward to more interactions with Caitlyn just because I really like her as a character. But also, I feel like Jinx actually is going to be more on the front lines when it comes to who she interacts with beyond just Caitlyn and Vi. I'm looking forward to that a lot because the thing is that we've always seen Jinx, no matter if you were a League of Legends fan before Arcane or you got into League of Legends because of Arcane, we've always seen Jinx as just kind of her own independent thing. Yes, she's always trying to win the approval of the people she loves. The thing was that though her loyalty was always something different. Her loyalty was always to herself mainly, even if she was getting that validation from getting that validation from somebody else to make her feel good. But she's a very self-serving character, in my opinion. And because of that, let me know how the volume is, because since we're discussing important stuff right now, I wanted to, I gotta make sure you're hearing me, of course. I'm gonna just bring down the game volume just a tiny bit. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's a bummer. That was not a good first round. But in terms of character interactions I want to see from Jinx, I'm looking forward to, I want to see her meet up with Echo again, and I want to see her specifically meet up with, of course, the you-know-who character that right now is basically a puppet on a couple of strings, but we know Vi is going to see, but we don't get confirmation if Jinx is going to see. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But I think those would be the top two. If I had to make it a top three, though, I would definitely go with, I would really want to see just a one-on-one interaction, like no one else in the scene except for these two characters. A one-on-one interaction between Jinx and Caitlyn. Because, of course, Caitlyn right now is probably going to be on her Terminator arc where she's basically so hyper-focused on finding Jinx. Maybe not killing her, so maybe I shouldn't say Terminator. But, oh gosh, that was a stupid idea. I didn't realize all those little small fry were coming. But the thing is that Caitlyn may not be trying to find Jinx specifically to kill her, but she does have beef still, of course, with her. And I would be eager to see what's the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth. Sorry, I was too focused on the shot. What's the first thing that's going to come out of each other's mouths, or their mouths, I should say, when they first see each other? Is it going to be immediately hostile, or is it going to start kind of distant and then become more volatile and more angry? And I think that's totally possible, because I know some people will be like, well, why would Caitlyn not start the conversation out mad? Why would she not immediately be volatile with Jinx because of everything that Jinx has now put her through, and her literally saying in the final episode of season 1 she's too far gone. A lot of times people will see a character and take their dialogue completely at face value. We've lost another round. But I feel like sometimes there's a bit more nuance between what a character says and what they really believe, especially when it comes to the context of each moment that they say it in. So, because of that, I feel like Caitlyn, after having time to cool down from that first experience, I'm gonna lose my rank, aren't I? I feel like Caitlyn she might not completely change her mind about Jinx, but change the way she approaches Jinx. Because of course, in the heat of the moment during the tea party scene, like every emotions were so high, everything was going wrong. Like everyone was saying and doing the wrong things. It wasn't just Jinx that was completely butchering the interaction. Everyone was. Vi was. Silco was. It was like because everyone was so panicked and emotional. Like everything was coming out wrong. Like everything was just not going well. And the thing was that I feel like maybe in season 2 we might see some very different sides of not just Caitlyn but every character on how they approach very volatile situations. Speaking of that, I wanted to mention something actually. If you saw my last video on my YouTube channel, basically it was something where I was reacting to the little sneak peek preview scene we got from Netflix on YouTube, and basically it was something where I felt like, of course it was very short and not a whole lot to go off of, but I mentioned how I thought that Echo in season 1 was a little bit of a hypocrite. And the thing is that in my personal opinion, oh boy, backing up. In my personal opinion, the reason why I think Echo is a bit of a hypocrite actually has to do with what we were just talking about in terms of volatile reactions. Don't get me wrong, Echo has every right to have volatile reactions because of the firelight that Jinx did end up killing. And I feel like, but beyond that, since we didn't get a whole lot of information on who this character was in terms of the firelight that got killed, the specific kid that got killed that looked like Vi, we didn't get any knowledge, or we didn't have any knowledge on her other than she looks like Vi when she was young. And the thing was that it was triggering for Jinx, of course, because Silco had tried to convince her that her sister was dead, because he thought so too at the time. And the other thing was definitely that, back up. Where I'm going with this is basically that we didn't know anything about this character other than the fact that she looked like Vi. And she, I don't know actually the gender or the identity of that character. But what I did know was that, I mean, they must have been pretty young, and they must have been somewhat more close than other characters to Echo because of the reaction he had when Jinx shot them. I feel like in that moment, of course, Echo is feeling like this is just another heartless, cruel act by someone I used to know, that I used to love, but has turned into this monster that cannot be saved. Because Echo made it very clear when he met up with Vi when they were older that they were basically, saving Jinx was not an option in his mind. No matter if it was for his personal reason or for the fact that he, as a person, just cannot forgive Jinx, or as a leader, because he's the leader of the Firelights, he doesn't want to put his people in danger because they already had one more example of Jinx killing one of them. And it's crazy to me. Honey, I'm over here. We're over here. We are over here. Please don't. Oh my gosh. You could have revived us, but that was scary. Please revive people when you get the chance, even if it, like, don't bend over backwards if you feel like it's gonna get you killed, but please revive when you can. We were right there. But sorry, Splatoon rant. But the thing is that the reason why I would think that Echo was a little bit hypocritical was because of how, in his mind, Jinx is unsavable, and yet he had that, he was only facing Jinx with a mask for one. Ooh, that was really bad. We're gonna lose him. Oh boy. The thing was, though, was that he was only facing Jinx behind the Firelight mask. And to me, that at least showed that he was not ready to face his actual feelings about Jinx, about who Powder used to be, and was basically using the leadership role as a way to basically move on from it, but not really, because in his head he wants to move on from Jinx and say that Powder is gone, but in his actual feelings, and we're all dead. But at the same time, he's not moving on at all because he's just burying the feelings. He's just burying he's just burying the hurt he feels and even the idea of Jinx being redeemable in any way, so he can have that leadership role, so he can be a part of the Firelights and lead the Firelights without fear. And to me, maybe this is just a personal thing, but I never like it when characters completely uproot who they actually are but still try to act like they are that they are on the moral high ground, basically. It's really to me it's a very it can be done well, of course, but to me it's very annoying as a character arc, because a lot of times what I see with that is a character will basically say they have the moral high ground, say that they are better than other characters because of that, but the only reason they are putting forth that persona is to cover up a weakness that they refuse to deal with. And to me, that gets annoying from a storytelling standpoint, because you can kind of already know where it's going to go in terms of this character. Part of their personality might still have to do with how they're behaving in the present, but it's still something where the people that they're around, they're still hurting the other characters around them and still acting as if they're still acting as if there's nothing wrong with what they're doing and what they're saying, even though it's unhealthy for them and the people around them. It's very much something where, even from, like, if we're just going from a plot standpoint on how Echo has to lead this new generation of Zonites that don't even consider themselves to be Zonites. They consider themselves more so to be this independent faction that is going to thrive on its own, regardless of what happens to the rest of the Undercity. And to me, that feels like, I don't know, it almost feels like it's running away from the actual problem. I understand what it feels like to want to just completely go to an isolated spot away from society and its problems and just make a community for yourself and the people you love. Like, that's very relatable. But at the same time, Arcane's main messages always fall around things like classism and things like societal problems that affect our characters so personally that, to me, in this kind of story where the classism is so prevalent and the people, the characters within the world are so connected to it, no matter what side they fall on, to see an independent party that is only seemingly focused on thriving on their own, regardless if it ends up helping the rest of the Undercity, is just odd to me. I know they're also trying to take down, in Season 1 at least, they were trying to take down Silco. I'm not sure what their plan is going to be from now on, in terms of now that Silco is dead. Maybe it is just tracking down Jinx, and that's it. And taking down the people who are still loyal to Silco. I do think, though, that, to me, the answer of just creating a separate community instead of solely focusing on the community that needs help, to me it's just a bit hypocritical in terms of how he says that people like Jinx are just too far gone and they're just who they used to be. It doesn't matter in terms of what they're doing right now, when the Firelight community is literally a bunch of people that were also affected by the society that both Silco and the Upper City Piltover created. Because he mentions, like, some of them were addicts. He mentions that some of them were just orphans and people who lost family. Like, it just, from an overall standpoint, it makes no sense to me why Echo would think he has the moral high ground in this situation when he's also still turning away some people like Jinx that would be able to perhaps help them, but even if they just flat out said no, they're still ignoring them, saying that they're irredeemable and stuff, specifically because of the fact that specifically because of the same problems that they're trying to fix, if that makes any sense. Maybe I can word that better in a more scripted video. But that's my general thought on it. And I also can't help but wonder, and maybe we might get this kind of scene in Season 2, but it makes me wonder, did Echo ever try to specifically go for Powder or try to save Jinx and failed, and that's why he feels like there's nothing he can do for Jinx anymore, not even Vi can do anything for Jinx anymore? I feel like that would be a good thing to know, because then that would make him a lot more sympathetic, at least in my eyes. Oh boy. Ouch. I hurt myself. But it would also be something where I feel like personally, oh boy. Sorry. This is just chaotic. Wow, we are not having a good night for Salmon Run. We'll try one more, and then, if that doesn't work, then we'll go to a different mode, because damn, we are just not having it. But beyond that, I feel, well, yeah, to go off what I was saying before in terms of, did Echo ever try to go after Jinx and try to get her back? I think that's actually really important, because if, and only if, like I said, I could be proven wrong in the future with season 2, but if Jinx was with Silco the whole time and Echo never tried to contact her, never tried to rescue her from Silco before she got too attached to him, Silco, I mean, and just, basically what I'm saying is that if Echo just saw, like, during the aftermath of the big explosion in episode 3, season 1, and he saw the aftermath and just saw Powder hug Silco and just was immediately like, okay, I guess she's on their side now, and that's it. Like, that would be, to be honest, that would, 1, piss me off a lot, and 2, it would show that Echo didn't put forth the same effort that Vi was trying to, but couldn't properly do because she was in jail. Why did I back myself into a corner? I am so bad. Okay, sorry. I was just hoping I would not get completely abandoned. Come on, steal here. But the thing with that is that, oh my gosh, I'm so bad. I feel like we need a scene confirming what exactly Echo was up to while Jinx / Powder was becoming more and more manipulated and influenced by Silco. Silco, a lot of people like to argue about whether Silco was a good parent figure to Jinx or not, and regardless of that, he thought he was doing the right thing for her because he saw himself in her and was like, this worked for me, so I'm going to have her do this too in terms of how I'm going to help her. He thought what he was doing was completely right the whole entire time, and because of that, it was also something where Silco, despite the fact that he clearly was manipulating her in his eyes out of love, but still manipulation nonetheless, the thing is with that is that there is so many people who look at Silco as basically he is just the bane of the existence of everyone, despite the fact that he feels like he's doing the same thing. And if you think that's an accurate read on, like, the character, you're kind of missing the point of who Silco is and who he's trying to be. And it's really hard, but because Silco can be a very hateable character. But Silco, I wonder how he would have reacted if he found someone like Echo trying to take Jinx back, trying to save her from him. But especially because he thinks he's completely in the right with what he's doing, and he sees himself so much in Jinx. Hello? I'm right here. Please help me. Thank you. That guy went right past me, wow. Especially when we need more eggs. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. Oh, run away. No! Oh, wait. Oh, that was clutch. Ooh. That was, oh, wow. That could have been so bad and so disappointing, but we made it. Whoever that player was, you are amazing. You are the savior. Okay, I'm just gonna keep a distance from now on because I'm not playing very well tonight. Oh, I missed. No! I thought I could, why did I think that the Kohawk could be taken out with one shot? Sorry, back to Arcane. I feel like it's definitely something where I just feel like Echo could be even more deep of a character if we saw more of what he went through in terms of, it doesn't have to be like a full-on episode, but if we even just knew with him just talking about what he's been through, because I mean, he had every right to be upset with Caitlyn when they first met. He had every right to be upset with Vi when they first met, but the thing was that he also seems very, very, oh, I just noticed the thing with the alert, and that was right when I died. Great. Okay, yeah, we're doing something else. But, oh, I just got a notification. Georgia Dow, why we flirt, Vi and Caitlyn. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. I'm gonna watch that right after this. But, beyond that, I also feel like there's something to be said about, oh, the mode's updated, that's good. There's also something to be said about side characters and how I feel like Echo is a really good side character with how he is introduced back into the plot. But I feel like he's probably, I feel like he's the character I know the absolute least about beyond other characters except for like, Silco scientist guy, what's his name? What is his name? I forget. But there are characters like Mel and characters like even, like Caitlyn's mom that I feel like I know better than Echo. And I feel like there is, something that needs a little more oomph with, the character development in terms of Echo that I really want to happen in Season 2. I don't know what that's going to be, but I just want something with him that gives us a little more, even if it's just background stuff that would have been happening in Season 1 but we just didn't see. I just think there could be even more with him, and I think we're gonna get that if the sneak peek with Netflix was anything to go off with. And I definitely think that get away from me. I definitely think that it's also going to be something where Heimerdinger and Echo are going to be two very important characters, of course, and I can't wait to see how they play off of each other beyond just comedy like we saw in the sneak peek. And yeah, I very much just, despite the fact that I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Echo, I do want to see more of him. That's the main point. Okay, what else can we talk about? There's so much to talk about. Can you believe at one time I used to be at the top rank of this stuff, and now I'm playing like this? Oh my gosh. But I feel like my next topic will probably be about, I want to talk about specifically, my predictions in terms of, so here's, what could happen with, Vi. I've seen a lot of awesome, video essays about where Vi's character is going to go now that she feels like she has no one left to protect. She has at least tried to make herself believe that Jinx is gone. She has at least tried to convince herself that Powder's gone, Ames, but also it's definitely something else where, I feel like because she feels like she has nothing left to protect, I feel like that's also going to actually put a strain on her relationship with, Caitlyn, because of the fact that there used to be, I feel like Caitlyn grew up very sheltered and Vi was her first window into the Undercity, right? But it was also her seeing some very different behaviors from Vi that she's not used to, and I think a lot of those behaviors go with her need to protect people and her, I won't say it's heroic, but her very selfless nature in terms of, I'm going to do everything I can to protect the people I love, no matter how much danger it puts me in. Like, that mentality, of course, can be dangerous, but I feel like that's part of what Caitlyn fell in love with Vi in the first place. Not to say that that's the only thing that she likes about her, but I feel like that was a big part of it. There is also yes, booyah, thank you. I also feel like there's going to be some instances where, because Vi is going to be still really depressed and distraught about the people that she feels like she couldn't protect, because Caitlyn will be off doing her own thing, kind of. Well, not really her own thing, but just being more forward herself. She might see it as, or Vi might see it as, this is another person that doesn't need protection as much, so what am I supposed to do with myself, kind of deal. And that could put a strain on the relationship too. So not only will Caitlyn kind of feel like this is something that that the person that she thought she fell in love with is acting very differently, which is very, of course, distressing. But also the idea that, I'm gonna move back. But also just the fact that because of Caitlyn being so independent and focused on her goal, it will also put a strain on Vi's perspective of the relationship too. I think you guys get what I'm trying to say, because I feel like even like with the Why We Flirt video that I just got the notification for, of course, since I haven't watched it yet, I could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong about this, but I feel like a big part of the reason why Vi and Kate would flirt was because, not just because they come from such separate backgrounds, yeah, we're going to a different mode, I promise this time, not just because they come from such different backgrounds and are not exactly used to each other, so that makes them curious about each other, but also, I feel like it's something where the idea of them flirting also comes from the fact that they have so many traits that they admire in each other and kind of not necessarily want to emulate themselves, but they are so eager to see each other and how they handle things because they know they are different and they have traits that they admire, so they want a different perspective on things. They want to see here is something that I never considered or something that surprises me. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why when they interact, it feels so right, and it feels so natural between them, because not only do they admire traits within each other, but they also have so many ideas and thoughts going through their mind personally about how they want to protect people, but they do it in different ways. And I feel like it's definitely something where seeing the relationship strained a bit is something that's very needed. Because, I mean, no one wants to look at a perfect relationship as much as we like seeing cute ships. I feel like there's also going to be a lot of things involving the reason why they fell for each other in the first place, and seeing how that is contradicted by what they're going through in their circumstances. Whoops. I'm just very eager to see how that plays out. Ooh. Was that the... Yeah, that was the bucket. I feel like there's been plenty of videos on why Caitlyn and Vi are such good reputation. Nice. Super charms. Oh. But, sorry, I said I was good at focusing when I was playing, but maybe that's not true. Or maybe today's just an off night, I don't know. But I feel like also, moving on to a different topic, I feel like, nope, that was bad. I feel like also, something else I'm really looking forward to about Arcane Season 2 that was really prevalent in Season 1, this is something that they should definitely keep the same. I feel like the core of the story centers around Jinx and Vi, right? Ooh, and I got sniped. And I feel like also the idea of that still being the core of things, but also really expanding on the idea of, okay, here is, we still have the two cities that still need to find a middle ground in some way. And of course, unfortunately, we have to do this through war, despite the fact that no one wins in war, really. And I feel like also, a lot of people were talking about things like Noxus and Mel's mother. Like, don't get me wrong, I know they're going to be a big part of this too, but I don't want it to be too much where we're learning so much about Noxus. I want to learn more about Mel, but not necessarily Noxus specifically, if that makes any sense at all. Ooh. And the reason why I say that is just because I feel like it would be a bit too much to pack into one season to also get all this background on Noxus and the Noxian people beyond basically how it affects Mel. Because the thing is that we already have so much going on. We already have so much going on in terms of the emotional core of Jinx and Vi, but then we also have to make sure we're fleshing out their arcs, the side characters' arcs, the idea of that there are still people that are loyal to Silco, the idea that the Noxians are now going to somehow be a part of this war. Like, this is a lot to balance, and I'm not trying to say I don't think they can do it. I'm definitely not saying that I don't think Arcane can pull it off, but it's a risky move because of the fact that if we choose to focus too much on the Noxus side of things, it's also something where I feel like it could be very counterproductive, basically. Whoops. And it's raining. No. Oh, I jumped right into that, didn't I? I just feel like it might be, like, we have to have our priorities. I'm not saying that anything with Noxus would be detrimental to the story, but I feel like this is one of those things where we cannot focus too much on things that are lower on the priority list, because we have so much we need to pay off from season 1, and that's just I could be completely wrong about that. Like, perhaps maybe they'll find a way to incorporate Noxus in a very deliberate and prominent way that still leaves room for everything else to be fleshed out. I would hope that would happen. I'm just saying it might be pretty difficult from a writing standpoint to do that. Beyond that, I don't think there was anything else I wanted to talk about. I think... Oh, wait. One last thing, and we'll do this in the last 2 rounds for tonight. The thing is that I think, in my opinion, how they handle Jinx and her trauma and how she's choosing to move on from the one mistake that haunted her so much in season 1, I feel like it's gonna be very important to realize that these... Okay, so characters that have these very intense traumas and it's clearly affecting their mental health very deeply, I feel like we still have to see how Jinx copes with her ongoing issues, despite the fact that this one specific trauma is something that she has tried to move past and is no longer affecting her as volatilely or as intensely, I should say, as before. I don't agree with people who say that Jinx is completely now at peace with herself, because of the fact that she still has a grudge against Vi. I feel like she has accepted the fact that they don't get along, but it's not over between them by any means, and that's not just because the plot calls for it. And I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I heard that from people who play League and played a long time before Arcane, apparently there's some sort of plot line with amnesia with Vi, and I'm not sure what I feel about that, but I feel like it would actually be detrimental to both Vi and Jinx's characters if they choose to go through with that and make that... I mean, I don't even know if that's canon or not, but I feel like it's something where that would be really bad for both characters, just because of the fact that I feel like them being able to move forward in their own ways, even if they still do hold a grudge between each other, I feel like that is so integral to the story of them coming to grips with who they want to be and how they want to live their lives. Like, I feel like Vi somehow forgetting about the worst things that Jinx has done in terms of at least I'm guessing the amnesia would only affect the childhood event of, unfortunately, Powder accidentally killing her whole family except for Vi. But if she forgets about, like, Milo, Clagger, and even maybe Vander, I don't know, I feel like that would just take so much away from the idea that these people... Oh boy, we're gonna lose this one. I feel like it would just take so much away from the progress that they have both tried to make, not always succeeding, but it would take so much away from what they're trying to become in terms of knowing that this is something that they have to live with. Their trauma is something they have to live with. But at the same time, there are ways, at the very bare minimum, that they can better themselves as individuals or live their lives as individuals and still be okay with that. Because I feel like with family dynamics, it can feel like, and a lot of people will say basically, it is so, yeah, we lost. But a lot of people will think that it is so bad when family units drift apart, no matter if it's siblings, parent-child relationships, or some sort of, even if it's found family, even if it's some sort of circumstantial thing that tears them apart. I feel like, and even saying tears them apart maybe is the wrong word, but the point of that is a lot of people think that if a family isn't on good terms with each other and is not facing the world together, then that's not enough of a resolution, basically, to a story. But I feel like that's not always the case. There are some cases, of course, where it can be done very poorly and it feels like not only things are up in the air, but it'll feel like no one went through a true arc. And that can be very frustrating. But I don't think that's going to happen with Vi and Jinx, because I think that, at least if we don't go the amnesia route, if we don't go with that as being the main thing that fixes, quote-unquote, the relationship between Vi and Jinx, I feel like it's very profound to realize that sometimes people go their separate ways, even with family, with both of them maybe still not exactly having the best feelings towards their relationship, but not to the point where it is so traumatic that they're not dealing with the trauma well enough to live their own lives. And not live their own lives in spite of each other. Live their own lives because they're at least at peace enough with the situation that they understand that we're just different people and we're not going, and those two people don't mesh, but that doesn't mean we have to fight with each other constantly. I mean, of course, the whole plot of Season 2 is going to be war and how they kind of do have to fight right now. But I'm talking about whatever the end of that brings. Whatever the end of Season 2 brings. Oh boy. Where's the tower? Where's the tower? Oh. Um, oh, is that the splashdown or was that? Oh no, it was something else. But I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. I think honestly, like, maybe I'm looking at this through rose-colored glasses. I don't want to be, but that's not my intention at all. But it is definitely something where, oh, it's definitely also something where I feel like particularly this could be something that could say something really profound about family dynamics and how people change. Because as much as we like to see brooding characters that are constantly haunted by their past, I feel like the idea of having two characters that truly still don't agree with each other in any way, shape, or form, but acknowledge that this is everyone has their own life and is inclined to live their own life. I feel like, and I'm not trying to say that they can like never talk about their hurt ever again, like they can never bring up the situation ever again or how they feel about it, but at least feel like they are okay with the idea of we don't have to contact each other ever again, we don't have to do anything with each other ever again, excuse me, but but we are not to the point where we are literally hunting each other down. Like, there is nothing wrong, I'm not sure if I'm wording this right, but there is nothing wrong with two characters that had beef, not exactly forgiving each other, but not being at each other's throats for the rest of their lives. I feel like a lot of times people get very hung up on the idea of there has to be a concrete resolution to who was in the right, who was in the wrong, or here's the good guy, here's the bad guy, and one or the other has to lose in some way. I just feel like that's just not the kind of story Arcane is. I'd be very surprised if they go that route with it. Oop. Should have focused on the ground assault instead of the tower. But beyond that, I think that's all I wanted to really talk about. There's plenty of other things we can mention. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the talk in terms of what I had to say, but please feel free to comment below on what stands out to you about Arcane, what are you looking forward to in Season 2, and like what were your favorite parts. If I have to do like a specific, a very specific question, I would say what was your favorite episode in terms of just as a single package, as a single episode? What was your favorite episode in whatever arc? Maybe it can be a full arc, but favorite episode and why, of course. But yeah, I'm probably gonna stop it here. We've gone for about an hour, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts, and I definitely, in terms of the scripted videos, those ones aren't getting a whole lot of views, but if you guys want me to keep doing them, please let me know what topics you want to hear about. I have stuff that I'm working on, but the community poll didn't really get a lot of responses, so we'll see what happens with that, but please give me your feedback, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and hopefully it'll be this weekend with Spiritfarer. We'll be doing more of that game, and you probably noticed the Switch page about what we have coming up on the new games I have downloaded, so you can be looking forward to that too. Alright, see ya in the next one. Bye.